Hi, I'm Amos Cohn, and for my SI 330 final project, I compared fantasy football points against NFL contract values. A little bit of background. I chose to do this project because I'm both a huge fantasy football player and a huge NFL fan, and I was curious about how real-world value compared to fantasy football player value. I also wanted to see how these values compared when looking at rookie contracts versus veteran contracts. So, quick crash course. For any of you who aren't familiar with fantasy football or NFL contracts, fantasy football is a game where players earn fake points based on the real-world performance on the football field. And NFL contracts are given to rookie players, generally last around 4 years, and the amount is based solely off where the player was taken in the draft, whereas veteran contracts are given on the open market. And as a note, for this presentation, I'll be referring to all players who are still on the rookie contracts as rookies. You can see here that rookie players make much less money than most veteran players, and while they tend to score less fantasy points, the difference is not nearly as much as the contract value. So a little bit about my data. For my fantasy football data, I found an Excel sheet from the 2013, 2014, 2015 NFL seasons online. However, it didn't have a couple of things I needed, like the player's full name and their draft year. The players' names were just a first initial and a last name, which could lead to some mixing up of players. However, the incomplete name was also hyperlinked to the player's Yahoo football page, where I scraped their full name as well as their draft information and combined both those information sets into a stats SQL table. For my contract data, I found a website that had all the current contract information of every NFL player, so I scraped that information and put it into a .csv file. However, there wasn't information about when the contracts are signed, which I needed, and so I had to find another website that had all the contract signing dates for all the players on a certain team and scrape them from there, so 32 pages total. I combined all this information and stored it in my salary SQL table. To combine all this information, I made queries for my SQL tables, used a Python library to plot the data, wrote the data into a CSV file, and used R to analyze the correlation between the variables. For veteran players, I found a strong correlation between the two, regardless of using the sample size of either 100 or the top 50 players. And I found that generally for each $1 million a veteran was receiving on their contract, they produced an extra 9.86 fantasy points. When I did this using only players on rookie contracts, I found a very weak correlation between the two when using samples of 100 players. And when using only the top 50 players, there was not sufficient evidence of correlation at the 5% significance level. A typical player on a rookie contract produced an additional 17.9 points for every extra $1 million on their contract. So in conclusion, with veterans, you know what you're going to get. They correlate very strongly, but they're more expensive for every additional fantasy points. Rookies are a little bit riskier. They have more uncertainty around them because they correlate less, but you can get a great value for every additional fantasy point.